the rationale, the real rationale behind the decision of the NJC sanctioning a judge who had been cited for probably improper conduct, and sanctioning the judge by saying he should go on suspension for 12 months and thereafter to come back and sit on the bench. I mean, you don't have, there are no two ways about it when it comes to the justice system, administration of justice. It's either a judge is bad or a judge is good. You don't have a middle line option.
Is this one saying there's a middle line option?
That's a middle line option. It's like saying, oh, it's just the same way as saying, go, a pat on the hand, go and sin no more. But the problem is, after 12 months, when he comes back on the bench, how do you want the average man who will come before him to see him? What kind of justice would a man who had been indicted, a judge who had been indicted, what kind of justice would Nigerians expect from him?
Are you saying that there can be no corrective measures? Because some people would say that what the NJC has done here is give him a measure of the doubt, because some people would say that he possibly was given a chance to defend himself on those charges, and it is very possible that he did what he did in best of faith.
That is the point. I am not saying he's guilty, he's not guilty. But if the NJC found reason to suspend him for 12 months, then they can as well tell him to go forever. Administration of justice is like medicine. Somebody you want to entrust your life into his hands. There's no second chance for a man that's going through a procedure in medicine. To come back, it's either he survives or he dies. So if a medical practitioner who claims to be a specialist in his field does something that professional colleagues feel that this is below standard, then he has to go, because he cannot continue dispensing half-baked proficiency. In justice, you don't have a situation where a judge, we're talking of credibility, somebody that all of us will go to, bow before and say, we are submitting our dispute before you, we believe that you will resolve it in a way that conforms with societal norms and the laws of the society. You don't go before a judge and you start having doubts that this man that was indicted by the NJC, because at best is an indictment. It says he stood before them, he told his own side of the story, but they were not convinced that he did well. If, for instance, like they said, well, the way he exercised his discretion was faulty. That is not a matter for NJC. That is a matter for the appellate court. The moment NJC starts taking over the functions of the appellate court, then this country is doomed.
How come they didn't know that?
Well, it's as simple as ABC. You see, the problem in this country, I overheard Professor Remi Odekunle that you just chatted with, and he was saying something about, look, there being no room for plea bargaining in the Nigerian system, that we should not encourage it. And Chamberlain was saying, well, in the case of corrupt politicians, governors, etc., that's the only way out. The problem with this country is we always look for the Nigerian way out. It's either we are ready to conform with global standards or we don't conform at all. We just throw it out of the window that we are not going to be governed by such rules. We want to be Nigerians. That way you can say, okay, if there's going to... I don't agree with the professor that plea bargaining has no room in the judicial system in Nigeria. What I say is that the plea bargaining should be employed within stated parameters that are in black and white. If you are charged with corrupt practices, even if you are going to do plea bargaining, you must serve the minimum sentence.
Now, some people will say that what he was saying was that plea bargaining should not be used in cases of corruption. And I think that Chamberlain was trying to say that, even abroad, even in other crimes, that a plea bargain as an instrument is used even in cases of corruption. That was the only way they were able to secure a conviction in the case of James Ibori, which is a very recent example. So, I don't know.
That's why I said I don't totally agree with the prof, and I don't totally agree with Chamberlain. What I'm saying is, if there is going to be plea bargaining in the Nigerian courts, because you are talking of discretion. When you give a judge discretion, over matters like that, that is what they are saying about this judge that has been sanctioned. He exercised his discretion, but he didn't exercise it properly. Now, once you give discretion to a judge, it means you are giving him room to maneuver. Such that if a rich man, a man of substance, has a case before him, and he has an opportunity of being compromised, all he has to do is to exercise his discretion in a way that favors the guilty party.
So this time it should be maneuver within certain
parameters. Even if there's going to be plea-bargaining, what it implies is, you may not serve the maximum sentence, but you will forfeit all the assets that you've stolen, and at the same time, you will serve at least 5 years, 10 years, 6 years, or if you are a politician, you will no longer be able to stand for election.
Are we leaving out the meat of it all? That's the Constitution that everyone has asked that it be reviewed?
Yes, that's the whole idea. The Constitution should be reviewed. If we have to, I don't agree that because somebody is charged with corruption, it automatically means, you can't listen to him, you don't give him any chance. But if the Constitution is properly amended or properly worded to capture the desire of Nigerians now, that, we're between the devil and the deep blue sea. These are very rich people. And they have means, and I don't really agree that because you have a very big man before the court, and the court must now bow down to the man standing before the court. If indeed we have what we call rule of law, which is that everybody is equal before the law, although we know that's not true in Nigeria, if we have rule of law in the strict sense of it, there is no reason why a former governor should not be convicted as appropriate. You have a, for instance, this morning I was hearing over the news that somebody who stole the phone, the handset of a governor in the western part of this country, the accused person was convicted and sentenced to 45 years in prison for stealing a handset worth 50 or 60,000 naira.
We don't know how much it's worth.
No, they stated it. It's always on the charge sheet. 50 or 60,000 naira.
Okay.
It's not as expensive as a Galaxy 3. But it was stolen. Now, it was stolen from a very, very big person. I had a situation where a handset was stolen from a young lady coming out of the church. And the people around assisted her in getting this thief. And they handed him over to the police. And the police said, well, they've beaten this man. We don't want him dying in the police station. You have to arrange for the feeding and the medical expenses of this person. At the end of it all, she had to do all that. Otherwise, they were going to charge her for battery. And then secondly, she had to eventually bail her phone from one of the kingpins in the area. That's because she is not a woman of substance. But when it comes to a governor, the maximum penalty, I don't even know whether there's anything like 45 years. The maximum penalty was imposed. You see, that is the problem. Judges, and I think the problem starts from the way and manner judges are appointed. He who pays the piper dictates the tune.
Let's revisit Justice Talba's case again.
Yes.
You said that there is no room for correction.
Yes.